Today we're going to talk about tactics versus strategies. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this because I know that there's a lot of confusion out there and a lot of people think that the two words are interchangeable. They think that tactics and strategies are just the same thing, but it's really important that you are able to determine the truth between the two of them, what the difference is, the nuance between the two of them. Because if you are thinking that tactics are strategies, then you're going to still be confused, you're going to be lost, and you're susceptible to shiny object syndrome. So the other day I was talking to a coach and he was like turning down an opportunity to have personal mentoring because he was like, oh yeah, I've already got these things going on. And when I pressed him about it and we dug a bit deeper, I could see that what he actually had were some tactics that he was being taught, but he still didn't have a strategy. And he was still going to be confused as to how to build his business online. So to put it broadly, the strategy is about having the big picture. The tactics are the minute detail of that picture, so the things that make that picture up. So let's look at an example of an engine. So a car engine, say you've got a car engine sitting there. So that engine is your business. So the whole thing together is your business, or the car is your business, right? The engine is running your car. So that is the business. Now the engine itself is made up of certain systems that have to be there for it to work. So those certain systems coming together as that engine are the strategy. So you need to have certain things in play, all working together in a certain way, synergistically, for you to be able to grow your business online in a predictable way, in a sustainable way, in a scalable way. If you just have one piece of that system, you can build a little bit, but then you get stuck and you're confused as to how to move on. But if we look at each of those systems and the parts that those systems are made up of, those parts are the tactics. So for instance, if you look at an engine, you have the cooling system, you have the ignition system, you have the braking system. So you can see how all of these come together to create the engine, all of these systems. So the systems are the strategy working together. But then each business will have different parts making up those systems. So different tactics that are being used to create that part of the system. So for instance, in an engine, you might have a disc brake system, or you might have a drum brake system. So you can see how by using which tactics you choose within each of those systems, it can look different, very different from somebody else's system, but it is still the system that's doing the thing. So shiny object syndrome happens when you get lost in the tactics. You get lost in the minute detail and you don't have the overall strategy. You don't have the 30,000 foot view with a big picture of what you're trying to put together. And so you are susceptible to the next tactic being offered and the next tactic being offered. And you're running from tactic to tactic to tactic to tactic, being told that that tactic is all that you need. Because the thing is that most of the people out there who are teaching online marketing are just teaching you a tactic. Meanwhile, they're running a whole system in the background. They've got the whole thing going on in their business where they're just teaching that one tactic. But instead of saying, hey, this is a useful tactic that you could use in your business, they're letting you believe that that is the only thing that you need. And they do that so that they can sell it. So does that make sense? How we have the engine that is made up of core components that are necessary working together, but then each of those core components is made up of different little parts. So for instance, having a Facebook group is a tactic. Running paid ad is a tactic. Using YouTube to drive people to your lead magnets, they're all tactics. So they're all tiny little pieces that you would choose to use within your system, within your strategy. So all of these things are very useful in getting you to your goals. And in fact, tactics are necessary, right? Because without the actual tactics that are going to make up the strategy, then all you have is a plan. You don't actually have a plan of attack. You have nothing that's actually working. So if the engine is the overall strategy, the systems that come together and that engine is the overall strategy, and the parts of those systems are the tactics, what overall strategy do you need to be putting into play to be able to create that predictable, that sustainable, and that scalable income, that business that you can, that's all working without you, that's pretty much automated, and you can leverage it and step back and then look at scaling it? What is the strategy that you need to be able to put into place in that? Well, every successful business needs four main pillars. So they need to be creating social proof. They need to have lead generation, so a way of generating leads. They need to have a way of engaging their audience, and then they need to have a sales system. So the social proof is there to allow you to create the social proof, to know, like, and trust that is necessary for someone to work with you. The lead generation is there to draw people to you, to get their information, to have them start to become your audience. Then you need to engage that audience, because not everybody makes a decision on that first exposure. You need to have them pooling, basically hanging around long enough and putting yourself in front of them in different ways. And for instance, that strategies in there might be through a Facebook group, through email, just through doing posts and stuff. How are you going to engage your audience? And then finally, you need a sales system. You need a way to actually sell them into your program. You can have these three pieces here and still be hitting yourself against a brick wall because you're not growing your business because you don't have a sales system. So can you see how this is all coming together to create a strategy? That if you have these four pillars all working, you have an overall strategy. And yet within these pillars, you get to choose what you want to do. You get to choose how you do it. So for instance, lead generation, you might be running organic traffic to leads, lead magnets, or you might be running paid traffic to lead magnets, or you might be in organic Facebook groups, just getting into conversations with people and developing relationships with them and then offering them a lead magnet. So they are all different tactics that you can use, and you don't have to do all of them. It's like you have four big buckets and each of them has a word on it. One's got words on it, one's got social proof, one got lead generation, one's got engage your audience, and the next one's got a sales process. And within those buckets, there are all these different cogs, all these different tactics. And you can look in that bucket and you can choose which cogs you want to use, which cogs you want to put together to build your machine, so your engine, your strategy. So by seeing it like this, by having the big picture and then having the tactics, the strategies and the tactics, that's going to allow you to strategically choose the strategy that you're putting together, strategically choose the tactics that you're going to be using. So next time somebody puts something in front of you, a sales page or there's a webinar, and you start to feel that excitement that, oh my God, this is the missing piece that I need, you can actually step back and say, well, hang on, is this a strategy or is this a tactic? 99% of the time it's going to be a tactic, right? If they're selling you a course or something like that, it's going to be a tactic because there's so much that goes into strategy, they can't teach it in a course. Well, it'd be a very big course. So you can look back and go, well, this is a tactic, and what is this tactic for? Which of these four pillars does this tactic fit into? And then you can go, once you identify which pillar it is, you can say, well, does that pillar need more cogs? Am I maxed out on what I'm doing already? Am I ready to add another cog, another tactic into that pillar? Or do I just need to keep concentrating on what I'm doing now to build that? Because as I said, you don't need all the tactics. You don't need to be doing everything that people says. As long as you are doing things within each part of your strategy, then your business will start to grow. So I hope that that's helping you get some clarity on it so that you can step away from shiny object syndrome and you can start to actually plan out your business and start to feel like you're in control of your business. So if you want to talk to me more about the strategy for your business, about the four pillars, about how you can put it together for yourself, jump on my calendar. So it's donnajoyusher.com/deep-dive. And let's have a chat to see if I can help you more to grow your business. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.